If you've ever had a horse with a nagging problem, something you just can't seem to get to the bottom of, well, you know how frustrating that can be. Today, we're going to dive into Integrated Equine Therapies, or IET, and it's an approach that's not just about treating symptoms, but about building a deeper connection to find the answers that are hiding just under the surface.
And this quote from Dr. Kathy Cieno, a veterinarian, really says it all. She says IET is about recapturing the essence of what healing truly should be. And that right there, that gets to the absolute heart of it. This isn't about replacing your vet. It's about enriching that care, creating a much fuller, more complete picture of your horse's well-being.
So, our first stop is looking beyond what we can see on the surface. Because IET is really built on one big idea. The problems that stick around the longest, well, their roots are often hidden from plain sight.
I mean, think about it. That weird on-again, off-again lameness. The behavioral quirk that came out of nowhere. The performance that's just missing its spark. Why do these things hang on, even when we're giving them the best conventional care? IET proposes that they're often just the smoke, and the real fire is a deeper imbalance that other methods might just not be set up to find.
And that's where IET offers a completely new way of looking at things. It's a hands-on approach that weaves together techniques from acupressure, osteopathy, and craniosacral work. The whole point isn't to just chase the symptoms around, but to use all these tools to track that dysfunction back to its real source and help resolve it there.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a list of physical techniques. The real power behind IET, the secret sauce if you will, it comes from two core principles that feel a lot more like an art form: melding and intention.
And it all really comes down to this one question. How do you truly connect with a 1,000-pound animal on a level that's so deep, so authentic, that it creates the space for real healing to actually happen?
Well, the first part of the answer is a concept called melding. And we're not just talking about physical touch here. This is described as a heart-to-heart connection. It's about turning down the volume on your own mental chatter and just listening. Listening with your hands and creating this bubble of trust where the horse feels safe enough to be a part of its own healing process.
Okay, so that heartfelt connection, that's the foundation. But to make it truly effective, it needs to be directed. It has to be powered by a second, absolutely critical force.
And that force is intention. You see, if melding opens the door, intention is what walks through it. The core belief here is that energy follows your attention. The clarity, the focus, the compassion of your intention is what turns a simple touch into a genuinely therapeutic tool. It's the difference between just mechanically going through the motions and truly helping to facilitate healing.
So, once you have that foundation of melding and intention, how does it play out in the real world? Well, practitioners learn to look at the horse's body in a new way, not as a bunch of separate parts, but as a living, breathing blueprint for what's going on.
They learn to see the body as a map of connections. An issue way up in the pole might actually be linked to a problem in the hind end. A tight, restricted shoulder might really be starting from an imbalance somewhere in the spine. It's all connected.
And this table here makes that idea so incredibly clear. Look at the lower cervical area. That's the lower part of the neck. A restriction there can be the hidden cause of a foreleg issue that you've been chasing for months. Or check out the lumbar region. An imbalance in the lower back is so often the real reason a horse just can't get that canter or lope right. It's an amazing roadmap for how a problem's source can be miles away from where you're seeing the symptom.
Now, to understand how IET can actually influence these interconnected patterns, we need to listen even closer to a really subtle, vital rhythm that pulses through the entire body. It's known as the cranial wave. This wave comes from something called the craniosacral system. The easiest way to picture it is like a gentle, self-contained hydraulic system. It's filled with cerebral spinal fluid, and it flows all the way from the cranium, the head, down the spinal cord to the sacrum. And this gentle circulation creates a very quiet, steady rhythm that a skilled practitioner can actually feel anywhere on the horse's body.
You could almost think of it as the body's quietest, deepest breath. The rhythm has an expanding or widening phase, which is called flexion, and then a contracting or narrowing phase called extension. It's just this gentle ebb and flow.
And when that rhythm is balanced and full and strong, it's a huge sign that the body's own self-healing systems are working exactly as they should.
But what happens when things like trauma or stress or an old injury mess up that rhythm? Well, there's a key IET technique used to reboot the whole system. It's called still point induction.
It's really incredible to watch. Here's how it works. First, the practitioner melds with the horse, just feeling for that subtle rhythm. Then, right at the very peak of that extension, that narrowing phase, they apply a super gentle hold and just encourage the rhythm to pause. That moment of quiet is the still point. And honestly, it's like hitting the reset button on your computer. In that moment of profound stillness, the body's own intelligence just takes over, unwinding old patterns and rebooting the entire system.
And as you can imagine, a reset that goes that deep does a lot more than just fix a physical issue. It can create a really profound shift, one that totally transforms the experience for both the horse and the human.
You can hear this sense of awe when people try to describe it. One student, Michelle Martin, said it feels ancient from earthly guided intelligence. It's like you're tapping into something primal, something the body already knows how to do on its own.
And what's really interesting is that this journey of discovery, it isn't just for the horse. As one practitioner, Wendy Dolan, put it, the experience was truly life-changing for her. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you learn to listen that closely to another being, it can't help but open up a new level of awareness in yourself, too.
And in the end, that's really the whole point. Jennifer Frew, another practitioner, said it perfectly. It's about a passion for empowering people and the horses to be the best versions of themselves. It really moves beyond just a simple treatment and becomes a true partnership, one built on a foundation of trust.
So it kind of leaves us with this big, provocative question, not just for our horses, but maybe for ourselves too. What if the real key to healing isn't about fixing what's broken at all? What if it's really about learning how to quiet our own minds, connect on a deeper level, and finally listen to what the body has been trying to tell us all along?